Crested Butte is, if not at a tipping point, a bit beyond the tipping point of becoming a community like Aspen, for example, where so many of the people who work in that community, who would like to live in that community, have to commute.
We're close to that tipping point where we could really start seeing that middle class start to shrink.
We have reached critical mass. We have positions that we cannot fill because people cannot live here.
One of the things you find is, oh, I can't find anybody who knows how to repair a furnace, because people with those kinds of businesses find it tougher and tougher and tougher to find housing here.
And then it becomes more and more noticeable, that gap between the haves and the have-nots. And the haves start having a lot, but then they also start not having the services and the experiences that they want.
I have started to look at different possibilities for myself in the future professionally. Getting out of the service industry, because honestly, being a job provider for young people is too stressful to fill those positions because of the labor shortage.
What happens to a community when some of the longtime locals and some of the people who've been here and worked year-round start to leave, the soul of the community leaves with them.
We've got to keep our communities together, and housing is the first way we do that.
Honestly, it feels frustrating, and it feels like just a perpetual hamster wheel.
Just scrounging to find a place, and that just, it's like you can't focus on anything else because Maslow's hierarchy of need, you need that roof over your head to kind of focus on work or relationships.
Everything is just out of reach, you know, just barely out of reach.
I'm working, and I'm working hard, and I'm putting in the hours, and I'm bringing home the paycheck, and this is all I can afford.
It drives me crazy because I want to, of course, I want to remain happy and be able to flow through life easily. And then when you just like hit walls all the time, it's awful.
Let me put it this way, it's not a good situation when people have to be concerned about, do they pay rent or their utility instead, or take care of a health issue instead?
Well, I feel pretty much trapped here. This was pretty much the last apartment available at that time, and so we took it and mashed 5 people in here.
The last 3 months I was in my camper when it was, I think my coldest night in there, it was like -19 in a little tin box.
It's not about it's hard to get rich. It's about it's hard to live comfortably. Yeah, that's kind of heartbreaking.
Well, I wasn't expecting it, let's put it that way.
And I have seen it. Mom and dad and 2 or 3 kids living in the car. We are at a point in our lack of housing supply where you say to them, we don't have any housing. Do you know someone who has a house? Do you know someone who has a couch, a closet, a heated garage? See if you can rent that from them. How dire is that?
I just called my parents like, what am I doing? I'm paying all this money to go to college, and I'm living in a 13-foot camper for a piece of paper that's gonna cost me $80,000 in a couple months. And my parents were just like, just breathe. You know, here's some money, go get a good dinner tomorrow.
I'm trying to keep it together, but this issue is very relevant to me as a business owner and as a person that's raising a child here. And I never aspired to raise my child in an affluent resort community.
We need to get beyond the fear of affordable housing in our neighborhoods, in our communities, near to us, because these are in fact the people who we actually intermingle with on a daily basis.
I think it's really true with affordable housing. The people who need it most are not dying to come out into the public eye and say, hey, I need it most, because they're telling you everything about their family, about their income.
And I've had people say to me, it shouldn't be me as a taxpayer, it shouldn't be my responsibility to help that family find a better house. You make a trade-off, and the trade-off is, how do you want your community to look?
It's not that I feel that the community owes me anything, but wouldn't it be nice if I was met halfway?
Well, how does it feel? How does it feel to be without a home? Like a